Hello, and welcome to my hairdo. I'd like to share with you my current worldview. I have written it down. It is a total of 5 pages, and I will break it up into two parts. So, here we go. God is a living entity of love and compassion who has created a universe in which her children are meant to flourish and thrive in joy, happiness, peace, and profound abundance, should we choose to ask for and receive the one greatest thing in all the universe, God's love. God is an entity with male and female characteristics. He has created souls which incarnate on the earth. At the moment of incarnation, a soul is given a male or female spirit and physical body. A short time later, normally no more than 20 years later, the second half of that soul incarnates onto the earth and is given a male or female spirit or physical body. Spirit and physical body. It is God's plan that we grow in love and attract our one soulmate to live in an eternity of joy and creativity where adventure can never end. The human soul is the greatest of God's creations and is the one creation that has been given the gift of free will to choose our own path. We may choose to accept God's ready love, or we may choose to go away from it. Human life is a process of discovery of all the many gifts God has in store for us. Before incarnation, our souls did not have any awareness of itself. Through incarnation, we are given the chance to learn about our potential and the love of our Creator. We learn that all actions have consequences. Through our desire for wisdom, we may learn to evaluate our own actions and see which ones provide positive benefits and which ones provide negative ones. We are, in other words, compensated poorly for unloving actions and compensated abundantly for loving ones. Because of the condition of the world, it is difficult upon our entry into this universe to succeed. Our soul soaks up negative energy from our first days in our mother's womb. As a result of this, we are born with emotional wounds that are difficult to understand and sift through. We may think, because of our compromised state, that certain actions are loving when they are not, and it may take many years to realize the truth about what we do. Many of us are not willing to hear the truth of the universe because we are not ready to believe that a loving parent is truly above us. We are either too afraid of our own parents to believe God has amazing love to give, or are actively in rebellion to any authority figure because of bad treatment. Unfortunately, due to the unloving condition of mankind, there is a relationship of slave and slave master currently on the earth. Fear breeds all unloving behavior. We will protect our inner child so passionately and do everything we can to avoid our own fear that we are driven to the most cruel and inhuman actions imaginable. The people who are the most cunning and knowledgeable when it comes to human behavior have placed themselves in positions of authority to rule over the less cunning masses. These slave masters live to subjugate and dominate the rest of us. In the end, there is no authority that can replace God's authority. Excuse me for this. But the slave masters cleverly control our access to information in the attempt to retain their personal power. The truth, however, is that God has given every one of her children the ability to access truth through the use of their own free will. God will never withhold the truth from her children because she wants us to know everything. So we have this situation in which truth is carefully covered up in a slave to slave master equation. But even the slave can overcome its master when it goes to God in earnest prayer. One of the best kept secrets in the realm is the realm of emotions. To call someone emotional has often been a way to connote that that person is highly circumspect and given to extreme, unproductive behavior. That may be true, but it is only true to the extent that the person is emotional in the sense of their attempt to control and manipulate others through emotional blackmail. The truth is that we are beings of emotionality. There are negative emotions of anger, rage, hate, fear, anxiety, and jealousy. But there are also those positive emotions of love, elation, compassion, empathy, and excitement. Ultimately, we are meant to unite with our soulmate to enjoy a life of sexual and romantic love. People who have had religious experiences in their lives will testify that they have felt a sense of love overwhelm them and cleanse their very soul. Those who have not had this experience cannot attest to it, and will often talk of those who have experienced it as delusional, religious fanatics. But in many cases, these people are not deluded at all, but have received a bit of God's love. God's love comes into our souls through the mechanism of the Holy Spirit, which acts as a transmission device. It can happen anywhere at any time. The reception of God's divine love may happen to anyone, and there is no discrimination in its operation. The only thing a human soul must have to receive this love is the intense, earnest, and sincere desire for it. The only thing a human being need do is ask sincerely of its Creator to be the recipient of this love. It is through a humble heart that desires to know its Creator and her gifts that a human soul will be the benefactor of the greatest possession in the universe, namely the divine love of our eternal parent. When a human being experiences the joy of the reception of the divine love, an amazing thing happens in their heart. Their soul begins to change in physically imperceptible ways. They begin to change and become something different. Their spiritual senses may be heightened. Ultimately, their capacity for love is elevated. As that individual seeks sincerely for more and more of God's love and receives more and more of it, that individual increases in its abilities and knowledge. The only reasons someone is not receiving the divine love is because they are either not actively seeking for it with sincerity or because they have a misunderstanding of God. A person who believes God to be a wrathful, angry entity will not receive this great love because their soul is not harmonious at that moment with the reception. The incarnated soul has three parts. The first is the soul, which operates in the highest capacity imaginable, at the level of emotion and feeling. The second is the spirit body, which has thoughts of the mind, which exists as an intrinsic part of the spirit. The third is the physical body, which has a brain, which stimulates the operations of the physical body. It is of the utmost importance for a person to realize that their thoughts and ideas, beliefs, and morality ultimately originate in the soul. As Lao Tzu has said, "Beware your thoughts, they become your words. Beware your words, they become your actions," and so on. However, the true adept will discover that the level of emotions and feeling comes even before the thoughts. Therefore, we have coined the mysterious word heart, which suggests an aspect of ourselves beyond physicality. The heart is the basis of all romantic love and compassion. It is what we sing about in love songs. The true romantic desires the heart of his or her lover before even the physical qualities. The true romantic knows the heart is the doorway to love and joy. Sex without love is a vapid, fruitless, and wasteful activity. True sexual excitement comes from a heart-to-heart connection. And I'll end there with 2.5 more pages to go.